What's up, Bo? This video is for you, brother. This is an update on your parts and a going over of the setup. Right here is your all your blue ones. All your blue parts are done. I've just started on your green ones. You can see I'm printing over there now. But all the blue parts are done and they all turned out pretty sweet. I gave you extras of everything. Oh, and one other thing, Bo, you asked me would those RCN Power Wash Major motors fit inside these feet, and they're supposed to. On Thingiverse, these are the upgraded version 2 feet. They got 4mm added on the bottom, and they're a little wider here in this part to support the 2306 motors. So the Wash Major motors are 22.6mm wide. So if a 2306 will fit, the Wash Major should fit right in here, no problem. And you'll have just that many green parts too. Now I'm going to talk about this quad here. This is my aluminum drone that I've been flying every day. You guys have been seeing me fly, and I know you've noticed that it wobbles. It's got prop wash bad, and it's got prop wash mid oscillation wobbles when you're just flying along straight, because I've never actually tuned this quad. It's got an old, it had old firmware on it and everything on the boards, but I've updated everything tonight, so I'm going to go through everything I've done, and I'm going to show you my rates and tuning and everything, and show you how to get all this stuff in case you don't know. So it's maybe a long video, so you can skip through what you don't need to know, and I hope this helps you, brother. Okay, brother, first thing you're going to need is Betaflight, and the next thing you're going to need is a program called Blheli Suite32, because I'm sure you're running Blheli 32 ESCs if you're running T-motor stuff. So you're going to need both of these programs. I'm sure you probably already got them, but if you don't, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below. So you just go to that link and you can make sure you download the configurators. Now when you download Blheli Suite, you need this in order to mess with your ESCs. This lets you change like the timing and stuff like that. Makes a big difference in how you quad flies. But you need to make sure you get version 32.9.0.5 or later if there's a newer version out. You always want the latest version. And on Betaflight, you want to make sure you're using at least 10.9.0. This version right here. It makes a big difference, brother. Alright, now the first thing we're going to do, reason I'm showing you this is because I had to go through all this anyway, because I ain't never tuned my aluminum drone before, and it needs it bad, so I decided to do it. And I was still running old versions, like I was running version 4.1 on my flight controller and an old version on my ESC, so I wanted RPM filtering. So I had to update everything. So here we go. First thing you want to do is make sure plug your drone up to your computer and go into Betaflight here, but don't connect it yet. Don't hit connect. What you want to do is go down here to firmware flasher. Click on that. Go right here. This little box here will be lit up, says auto detect. If it's not lit up, it's because you're connected. Because sometimes the flight controller automatically connect when you plug your quad up and you won't realize it. So make sure you're not connected here. Once this box is lit up, just hit auto detect, and it'll auto detect whatever board you have, so you can't mess up. And it will also automatically put right here the latest version for you to download. So the latest one, like for my Fury OSD Fury F4 board, is 4.4.1. So if I click on it here, see, there ain't no other higher versions unless I go to something that hadn't been tested yet. So we want that. All this should be right. 25, 6,000, full chip arrays. You don't mess with any of that. Just scroll on down here once you got this, and you auto detect it and it's your stuff. Scroll on down here and just hit load firmware online, and it'll automatically load it. And scroll back down. Then all you have to do is hit flash firmware and wait till it finishes. It'll erase your board and it will flash your board back with the latest version. And then when it's done, I'm not going to do that but when it's done, then you'll just go back up here to welcome, And when you do that, it's going to say, most likely it's going to say it has this board has presets, and you need to download them. Just hit yes, and it'll automatically put the right stuff on it for you. And it'll most likely tell you that your accelerometer is not calibrated, and you'll need to calibrate it. That's just pretty much does it every time. So anyway, once you've got that, now let's hold up on Betaflight, man. Let's go over here to Blheli Suite. Once you've got Blheli Suite downloaded, your quad's plugged in, but there's no battery connected yet. You just go here where it says connect, and you hit connect, and you wait and watch for this right here to light up where it says read setup. See it lit up now? Alright, now let me plug a battery in. Okay, you have to plug a battery in, and then you can hit read setup and give it a minute. It'll read all the things, and it'll tell you, just like what I've got a 4-in-1 ESC in this thing, but one of the ESCs blowed, so I had to put a single ESC out on the arm, but I've got them all set up the same way, and you'll see in a minute here. So just hit OK. Now what you want to make sure you do, the very first thing, is you want to make sure you're running the latest version on your ESCs, because a lot of times they ship the ESCs with an old version on them. And the newest one right now is 32.9, and that gives you the RPM filtering. So you need 32.9. If it don't say 32.9, what you do is you come up here to where it says ESC flash, click it. Give it a second. It will automatically detect whatever ESCs you have, and it'll automatically show you the latest version right here. So just make sure all your ESCs are check marked, and all your keep settings are check marked here. If it don't say 32.9, click on it and make sure there is a 32.9, but there should be. That's what you want, 32.9, and it'll get your ESC right. Then all you have to do is just hit flash selected ESCs, and it'll flash every one of them, and then it'll be done, and then you'll be able to enable RPM filtering, which makes a big difference. Alright, let's go back here to ESC setup. Now let's just run through this right quick. You won't want your on bidirectional, just disregard that, but I always set my throttle minimum to 1000, throttle maximum to 2000, and my center to 1500, which is just normal stuff. I run 25 degrees timing. That makes a huge difference. That makes your motors have a lot higher pitch sound and more crisp and direct. They just run a lot better when you run higher timing. You go much over 25 though, and you're just wasting your battery power, and for not enough gain. 50's fine on the ramp up power. I ain't see anything else. You shouldn't have to run demag compression high, compensation high. I do that because I'm running 3D. Only other major thing is I'm going to show you how to turn on RPM filtering in Betaflight, and this is where that comes into play right here. What you want to do, you want to use the lowest number you can, which will be 16 Hertz. So you slide the slider all the way over here for the low, and then on the high you want to go all the way over to the right to where it says by RPM, and then the flight controller itself will determine by your motor RPMs how to regulate things, so it can go from the lowest all the way up to the highest, and it makes a big difference. This is the major thing. This is why you want everything updated, so you can get this right here. Alright brother, that's pretty much it on the ESCs. So let me X out of that, hit disconnect here. Alright, hold on, I got to. Okay, I've showed you how to get the latest version of Betaflight. So you go to welcome here, hit connect. I'm sure you know how to calibrate your accelerometer. Just hit calibrate, because it'll tell you to do that after you've done this. One thing you probably want to do before you update your flight controller, before you erase your board, go ahead and go to the ports tab with your original setup and look and see what's clicked here and wherever else, so you can click them, so you can turn these back on the same way. Let's see now, let's go to... I'm going to assume you know how to set a lot of this up. I run an FPV camera angle of 20 degrees. That coordinates rolling y'all just a little bit. And I run 180 degrees here where I can arm at any angle. And basically I just have air mode turned on. Everything else here don't mean nothing. Now let's go to... I don't mess with power and battery or fail safes. Presets, you can pick your own presets. I run FrySky S-Bus, so this is the one I picked, and it just automatically puts things on there. It's pretty straightforward how to do that. You just click it and then hit accept. Let's see here, PID tuning, here we go. Now like I say, I've just done this one today, this quad here, and so I ain't done anything but hover it outside in the dark to make sure the motors wasn't going to get hot. So I ain't PID tuned it much yet, but I think I've got everything close in the right range. But since you run Suxess, your numbers can't be this high. If you do, you should burn yours up. But this is what I would run for 4S, roughly. And then pretty much I've left everything stock except for the master slider here. I've slid it over to 1.3. And I'm just going to start with that. Probably though, what I'll end up having to do is lower my P a little bit and lower my feed forward, but everything else is probably going to be alright. My D-Max might be a little bit high, I don't know, but I hadn't had time to fool around with it yet. Brother, if I were you running Suxess on these PIDs, what I would do is leave everything default here just like it is, and just take the master slider and slide it the opposite direction over here, like 3 or 4 notches somewhere along in here, and start from there and try it. Because I know your PIDs need to be a lot lower when you're running Suxess, or at least that's what I've been told. So I would try it over here somewhere. About the distance I went that way, I'd go the distance this way. And you should be in the ballpark. And then you can play around with these, just moving them 1 or 2 at a time till you get it right. But that should get you really, really close. I mean, they've made it real easy to PID tune now. Ain't much of nothing when... All this will get set up when you do your preset I showed you. Dynamic idle value here. This will keep your motors spinning when you drop the throttle, so you don't have like desyncs and stuff. Anywhere between 20 and 30 is what most 5-inch quads run. I like 20 to 25. I'm gonna start with 20 and go from there. Alright, that's pretty much it on this. Now let's go to, you wanted to know my rates? This is my rates right here, brother. I run Betaflight rates now. You can see there's different kinds of rates here. Probably you'll be on actual. That's what anytime you upgrade things, it always goes to actual. I have to change them back to Betaflight. But I run pretty much a 78 straight up and down here on roll pitching, y'all. And an 80 on my regular rate. And on Expo, I usually run anywhere from between 25 and 35. I'm starting with 25. I may have to go up with it a little bit because I've got my feed forward turned up so much. Either that or I'm going to go down with my feed forward a little bit. I don't know because I hadn't flown it yet. But my maximum degrees here is 780. And you can see the curve I run. I like to be able to be smooth on the sticks in the middle. And then when I need the fast roller flip, I have it. I don't run no throttle expo or anything like that. Throttle limit's 100%. Now let's go here to filters. I just slide my filters over to 1.2 to start with. Sometimes I'll go to 1.3, but sometimes that'll make your motors a little hot if you run high PIDs. So but usually just about all quads you can slide your filter slider over to the right a couple of notches anyway. And these I don't mess with, except for I turn off gyro low pass 2, but only after I have enabled RPM filtering. And in order to get this, you got to go here to the motors tab. So let's go to the motors tab. I always run my props reversed, props out like this. Seems to be more stable and you don't get tangled up in trees as bad. I always run D-Shot 600. I run a dynamic motor idle of 8, anywhere between 8 and 10. I have to play around with that. This is where you get the, this right here is what you want to turn on, brother. Bidirectional D-Shot. You got to have this in order to get the RPM filtering. So once you turn on this, then we go back here to pit tuning. Once you turn on this right here, then this part of the filters here will pop in here and show up. If I didn't have that other thing turned on, this wouldn't even be here right now. It wouldn't even say gyro RPM filtering. It would just wouldn't be there. But you don't want to change these numbers, as far as I know. You just and you don't turn off the gyro notch filter 2 unless you've got this enabled. What else here? Receiver. Say I run S-Bus. I've got my, I know it's supposed to say, it says TAR 1234, and that's for Spectrum, but and I'm running a FrySky radio and all. So why is it on that? Well, it's somehow or another I got it changed in my radio, and it's just easier to change it here than to go in my radio and change it back. So so anyway, let's see now. I run an RC deadband of 20, a yaw deadband of 20, and make sure this is 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 here. Throttle deadband, it'll be on 50 for you. Just leave it there because you're not running 3D. So only way you'd want to change that is if you're running 3D, and you're probably not going to, at least not for a while. So that's going to be pretty much it, brother. I can't think of anything else. On my modes, I don't have anything but two things turned on. I got arming turned on. On aux 1, I just flip a switch and it's either armed or it's not. And the only other switch I got is beeper. Right here. And that's on aux 3. You just flip a switch to make the motors beep and the lost small alarm beep. You see there's nothing else hooked up. I only fly air mode. Let's see. And you won't have this enabled either, brother, because you're not running 3D. This is only for 3D mode. Let's see here. That's pretty much it.